What's up, YouTube? My name's Chad Wright. This video series is meant to be a resource for you guys who are going to go to BUD/S, otherwise known as SEAL training. We're going to cover down on how I prepared for BUD/S back when I went through with class 278. I was able to make it all the way through training with no issues, never got rolled or any issues. So this is going to cover down on everything from how to prepare mentally, how to prepare running and endurance wise, how to prepare for the water, and also the calisthenics portion of your training to get ready to go and do this thing. So hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. We appreciate it. Love you. Nuff said. All right, guys, so we hit the mental preparation part, laying the groundwork to get ready to actually start training to go to BUD/S. Hands down, without a doubt, no questions asked, the most important part of your physical training in order to be ready to make it through BUD/S is running, without a doubt. Most guys that get injured, most guys that get rolled in SEAL training, I would say the vast majority is from stress fractures, all right? Their legs are not prepared for the amount of running that SEAL training demands. Most days, at a minimum in SEAL training, you're going to be running 6 miles, and that's just back and forth to eat chow, all right? 3 meals a day, a mile to the chow hall, a mile back. That's the very, very minimum. A lot of days you're going to have, you're going to be way further than a mile from the chow hall. So you're going to have a lot more distance to run just to eat. Sometimes that distance is going to be 10 plus miles. And then some days you're also going to have conditioning runs, or you're going to have 4-mile time runs on top of that. So it beats the legs up. You've got to be prepared. And how do you strengthen your legs? How do you get better at running? By running, all right? That's how you do it. Your legs have to adapt to the pounding that running puts on the bones of your legs. It takes time for that to happen. Now, when I was starting off and I was getting ready to go to SEAL training, I had zero base. I had zero experience in endurance running. My furthest run, I don't know, may have been a mile or something ridiculous. I had zero base. So when I first started, I had some of the most painful shin splints that I don't know how they could get any more painful. I would stand up out of the bed in the morning and basically fall over in the floor as soon as my feet touched the ground because my legs hurt so bad. If I wouldn't have went through that prior to SEAL training, there's no way I would have made it through. There's no way I would have passed my 4-mile time runs or my conditioning runs. I would have wound up in the goon squad, which is where you don't want to wind up during a conditioning run, because they basically beat you and hammer you down until your body's destroyed and you pretty much just have to give up, all right? So specifically, let's get into some specifics about running in preparation for SEAL training. Look, don't worry about running with a rucksack on. You're never going to you're not going to do a lot of rucking until you get late into third phase. In first phase and second phase, you may have a rucksack on, but it's going to have very minimal gear in it. It's not going to be heavy. Don't worry about rucking. Don't worry about running in boots and long pants and any of that crap, man. You'll do plenty of that. If you can run in tennis shoes, you can run in boots. You're just going to be a little bit slower in the boots and long pants. Don't worry about training that. Just get you. When I was training for BUD/S, I had an old pair of daggone Asics tennis shoes, man. We didn't have these Hokas and all this crap. Just get you a pair of tennis shoes and just start running. Now, don't go run on your daggone sidewalk around your neighborhood or in your local park on your, nice gravel trails and crap. 90% of the running you're going to do at BUD/S is going to be in soft sand. You're already going to be tired. You're already going to be fatigued. So when you put your miles in preparation for SEAL training, they need to be the hardest freaking miles that you can find, okay? That's why we're out here right now on a power line cut. This is what I trained on. This is what I ran on my entire time getting ready to go to BUD/S. All of my runs were done on power line cuts. There are a couple of reasons for that. Power line cuts are really steep. They're straight line, up mountains, up terrain. So you get the climbing in, that puts extra strain and fatigue on your legs. They're rutted out, they're uneven. A lot of times there's a lot of loose dirt and rock. It's gonna get you practice moving over that kind of loose terrain or uneven terrain. When you're running across the beach in buds or you're running across berms and stuff like that, there's gonna be holes, it's loose sand, there's gonna be freaking seaweed and all kinds of crap in your way. So get used to running on rough terrain. Speaking of that, another good thing about running on a power line cut is it's going to lessen your chance for injury, especially if you're just starting to get into your running block or your running training. If you start running on concrete and pavement and crap like that, it's going to make those shin splints and it's going to make those stress fractures way bigger risk than if you're out here running on the dirt. You've got all this daggone brush and briars and all these obstructions here. This is what you want. You want to make it as hard as you can possibly make it. You also get exposed to high frequency radiation out here, which is going to help freaking prepare your mind so that you're actually dumb enough to make it through SEAL training. All right, so you want to kill as many brain cells as you can. Running out on these power line cuts actually achieves that. Talking about mileage, how many miles should you be getting in per week before you start or before you go to Navy boot camp? I'd say a good standard is you should be able to easily and comfortably put in at least 50 miles a week before you show up to buds, all right? Those are 50 miles in hard terrain, not on your freaking sidewalk, and you shouldn't struggle to do that. If you run a 50-mile week and at the end of the week you feel beat up and like your legs hurt and your body hurts, and you're not ready, man, all right? Because again, when you get to SEAL training, that's going to be your absolute minimum. Your running load actually will increase as you go through buds if you make it, all right? The times for your 4-mile timed runs, they get shorter and shorter, all right? So it gets harder and harder. You have to get faster and faster. Your conditioning runs get longer. Again, in third phase, your rucksack gets heavier. All that stuff progresses. So you got to have a solid base of running. I'm telling you, man, I cannot stress this enough. This is what you should put most of your time into doing in order to prepare for buds or SEAL training. If you don't, you're going to get injured. And the other reason is because when you're doing timed runs or when you're doing conditioning runs, there's a freaking spotlight on you. Everyone there, they can very easily see if you're in the back of the pack or you're sucking hind tit. You never want to be in the back of the pack on a run. You never want to be in the front of the pack on a run. Even if you can be up there, you want to be able to comfortably maintain a middle of the pack place on all your runs. And you want to be able to do that comfortably so that you can get up the next day and do it again and again and again for 6 months straight. This is where you make your money. This is where you lessen your chance of getting injured. This is where you build the ability to get through training without winding up in the goon squad and getting highlighted and getting freaking hammered and getting beat down more than you should have to get beat down. Spend time running 50 miles a week, hard terrain, build up to that. If you get shin splints and crap, freaking you may have to take a day off, but as soon as your legs don't hurt quite as bad, get out and run again. Just do it. Eventually your legs will adapt. So, this is number 1. In the next video, we're going to talk about the water stuff, all right? The water aspect of training and preparing, getting you ready to go to buds.